Recently, I prepared a tax return for a professional athlete. I didn't know the guy, and I honestly didn't know much about his career. But once I opened his file, I saw exactly why my job matters. So I start scrolling through the first 10 pages of his documents, and then I see the first W-2. It was for over $3 million. Now, I've seen some multi-million dollar W-2s in my career, but it doesn't happen every day. Before I get on with this story, please like and subscribe if you like learning about tax and finance. Here's where a professional athlete's W-2 is completely different from yours and mine. A typical W-2 usually has one state listed in box 15, maybe 2 or 3 if someone moved during the year or works in a few different states. But with this athlete, there were 10 states listed. This is what we call the Jock Tax. Whether you are required to file in a state depends on how much you make there. If you make a few thousand, you might get a pass. But for an athlete making millions, every single game, every practice, every travel day creates a duty day, which is just a fancy way of saying he triggered a filing requirement in that state. To calculate duty days, you take your total compensation and divide it by your total duty days, which is the number of days you are on the clock in any given state. If you spend 10 days in California, you'll California tax on that slice of your income. For this athlete, he had 10 states listed on his first W-2 alone. That's 10 sets of filing requirements, 10 different tax codes, and 10 opportunities for the state to overcharge him if the apportionment math is off by even a percentage point. After entering in the details for all those states, I was honestly eager to see what else was in the folder. I scrolled to the next W-2 and I actually said, "Holy shit," out loud. This W-2 was for over $10 million. I thought, damn, who is this guy? A quick search showed me he had been traded during the year, hence the 2 W-2s. The $3 million W-2 I thought was huge, that was his small W-2. The larger one had another 10 states to enter. But what was really mind-blowing was the tax withholding. Box 2 on that large W-2 showed that he had paid roughly 50% of his earnings to federal taxes. 50%! That's $5 million in tax withholdings. People love to say, the rich don't pay taxes. Look at this return. I can tell you that it is dead wrong. Sometimes they're paying way too much because of poor planning and over-withholding. He was basically giving the government an interest-free loan all year because he was being withheld at such a high rate. Best believe we were implementing strategies so he could get some of that money back. After entering the W-2s, I moved on to his brokerage state. He was holding municipal bonds, which are a classic move to avoid federal tax. But there had been a mistake made that many high earners make. He bought bonds from states that he did not reside in. See, municipal bonds are generally tax-free at the federal level. But at the state level, they're generally only tax-free if they're issued by your home state. By buying bonds from all over the country, he was accidentally triggering state-level income tax on every single dollar of interest he earned. He thought he was being tax efficient, but he was actually just creating a massive, unnecessary state tax bill. You don't need to be an athlete making 13 million plus to fall into these traps. If you're a business owner, a high earner, or someone with investments across state lines, you are likely dealing with the same complexity. Multiple state filings, inefficient asset placement, and paying way more in withholding than you actually owe. You aren't just filing a return, you are managing a business. Hey, my name is Arash. I help people create plans to pay less in taxes. Did you know if you like, subscribe, and comment on my videos, you will automatically save 10% in taxes? Okay, that's actually not true. Also, I need to let you know that none of this video should be taken as tax advice. However, I would love to give you individualized tax advice. All you have to do is schedule a consultation on my website, link below.